Well, good morning everybody and welcome to the good old Skorid the Haspawn Fusion event calendar. In this happy little video, it's Fusion Clan time. Let's get straight to it, man, and waste no time at all. Okay, first of all, resources that you're going to want going into this fusion if you can. We're going to start off with the obvious. You're just going to want a decent stockpile of silver. Recommend at least a minimum of 30 million silver so you can get through all of the 3, I think, artifact enhancement events which are present on the calendar. As for potions, you're going to be fusing the hell out of a rare champ that happens to be Void Affinity, and then of course you're going to be using both the Rancid, which is actually a Spirit Affinity epic champ down here, fusing 4 of those to eventually get your hands on Skorid. And that means that the potions you require are going to be as follows, just popping in over my head right now, so I hope that you've done your fusion prep, and if you haven't, then maybe just rush it out and get it done today in the potion keeps. Currently right now, the Spirit Affinity potion keep is the keep that is open as we speak, and so yeah, if you're missing any of these, now is the time. And continuing on with resources that you're probably going to need to get your hands on, we're looking at, of course, the big energy spenders being the Dungeon Divers event, of which there are 3. It's going to be 5,000 energy per Dungeon Divers event, so I hope that you've got a decent stockpile of gems ready to roll as well. Maybe 1,000 plus gems should be enough to get you through each of these. Hopefully more would also be ideal. As for your sacred shards, your sacreds are almost certainly going to be pulled, of course, during the Summon Rush event. Simply put, sacreds are the most efficient way possible to get through the Summon Rush event. That said, with like 4 or 5 sacreds, you can squeeze your way through Summon Rush events, but you will have to kind of make up the slack with things like engine shards and what have you, right? Just make up the points required to grab the fragments and then get the hell out of them. Next up, of note, we have the Champion Chase tournament all the way back over here. Now, I just want to point out at this time, we don't actually know at the time of recording which shards are going to have things like summoning bonuses during the Summon Rush event and during the Champion Chase tournament. I'm just assuming that Sacred's going to be the best way to get this done. In the last fusion, there was actually a shard points bonus for pulling ancient shards during Summon Rush, which was a little bit unusual and kind of a break in the pattern of more recent fusions, but I'm just going to assume right now that Sacreds are probably going to be the way to go. And likewise in the Champion Chase tournament, we're kind of expecting at this time there to be a 2x Ancient Shard pulling event during the Champion Chase tournament. This may or may not be the case. If it's not the case, then you may need to pull something like 70 or 80 Ancient Shards to get through the Champ Chase tournament. But you are also going to be helped out during the Champ Chase as long as you save your fusions for the Champ Chase as well. That's going to get you some free points too. So just make sure that as you are collecting all of your champion fragments throughout this Skorid fusion, that you are not fusing any copies of both the Rancid down here until the Champion Chase tournament begins, because that's just going to be some free points. Every single, both the Rancid you fuse, and you should be able to fuse at least 2 during this Champ Chase tournament. Then that's going to be 250 points each, and so a free 500 points. I think you can actually get enough of your stuff together to fuse 3 of the required buffs for this fusion in this one Champ Chase tournament, so it's actually be 750 points up for grabs for free, just from fusing your buffs strategically and at the right time, so do bear that in mind. And hey, next up, man, things can get extremely energy efficient out there, so make sure that if you haven't already, go ahead and use promo code GameLeap, our own happy little promo code associated with this channel, to get your hands on a free energy refill, 100,000 silver, and 10 free experience brews. And if you've already used the code yourself, then help your brothers out during these trying times, during these Dungeon Divers events, right? And share the code with your clanmates, and yeah, I hope that helps yours out. Alright, man, back to the calendar over here. I'm just going to go ahead and hide these energy figures real quick, and let's see where we've got some event overlap. So, of course, things are kicking off right away, right now, as of the time you're watching this video, with the Dragon Tournament and the Champ Training Tournament. I think I'd highly recommend just really blasting the hell out of the Champ Training and just getting that done and out of the way as quickly as possible, right? So that it's just covered and it's done and it's sorted and you don't have to worry about it anymore, and you can just kind of get that checked off over the course of day 1, if at all possible. And then this will free you up to double dip in the Dungeon Divers event and the Dragon Tournament kind of simultaneously here, which obviously is absolutely ideal. And then happily enough, as soon as the Dragon Tournament ends as well, it's going to follow straight into the Spider Tournament instead, which, yeah, is going to run in the first day, at least, while the Dungeon Divers event is still active as well. So that is just lovely. Now, as soon as the Spider Tournament gets to around the middle section, there's going to be no Dungeon Divers active for just a little bit, for like, what, I don't know, is that like a 24-hour period or something? So just make sure that you kind of pause blasting a little bit while that overlap is no longer in full effect until the next Dungeon Divers event starts up right here. And then you can go on to blasting again and just, yeah, finish off everything in a huge blaze of glory and get a big, big head start on the Dungeon Divers event number 2 right here. Now, once again, there's another period of sort of downtime right here. Whoops. In between the Spider tournament ending and the Fire Knight tournament getting kicked off over here as well. So just make sure that, once again, you're having a little bit of a pause here in the Dungeon Divers event towards the middle until the Fire Knight tournament starts up. And then once again, you want to get straight back to blasting. Until, once again, of course, we have another break in the Dungeon Divers, which, yeah, it's just there to catch you out, man. So just stop dumping energy right there until, once again, the next Dungeon Divers event gets things kicked off. And then it's just kind of like a mad rush, I guess, to finish this Dungeon Divers event as the Ice Golem tournament starts here as well. Ideally, you want to be double dipping the crap out of these and try not to be leaving your Ice Golem tournament until the very end, because then it's not double dipping the goddamn thing, and you're much, much better off just kind of utterly annihilating the Ice Golem tournament as soon as it launches and, yeah, getting everything you need within the first day, if possible, and finishing off both events simultaneously. And then it's actually quite a nice little rest period towards the end of the Fusion calendar, where we've just got the Champ Training event to wrap things up, and an Artifact Enhancement event. Now is a good time to mention as well that when it comes to the Artifact Enhancement events, the first of which occurs all up and over here on the 3rd, you're going to be checking these off with about 15 million silver spent to pick up the fragments required in each Artifact Enhancement event. So that's 15 million silver across a load of 3 Artifact Enhancement events, I believe. There's one right here at the end. Where's the 3rd one? Oh, sorry, the 2nd one. There it is. Okay. Totally found it. We're all good. So yeah, while 30 million silver is a good amount of silver to go into the Fusion event calendar with as a minimum, just bear in mind that you might need to forge some crappy items and sell those off, and make sure that you're selling off an artifact cleansing from all of the crap you're going to be picking up while farming the Dungeon Divers event, just to make up the rest of the silver required to get yourself through the artifact enhancement events. And I don't really think that the classic arena takedowns are that worth covering. Just make sure that you blast the crap out of arenas and use your arena refills and stuff like that to go ahead and, yeah, knock those out. There's really not much to those. Now, one event that we have not covered is, of course, the Summon Rush event all the way down here. Once again, at time of recording, we don't know what the point requirements are going to be to pick up a free Bulf the Rancid from this, but there is one of the epics that you can earn for free from this Summon Rush event, and that's going to severely reduce the workload required for this Fusion event calendar. Generally speaking, you're looking at something like, I think it's like 10 or 11 Sacreds. I'm just going to go ahead and just make it 11 sack. If you've got 11 additional Sacred Shards lying around, so not including the 6 that you're going to be spending in the Summon Rush event, most likely, if you've got a real abundance of Sacreds lying around, do the math and see if you can just pull the Sacreds and get your hands on a free copy of Bulf the Rancid from the Summon Rush event. They're usually quite expensive. Again, right now, we don't know what kind of shard would be the most efficient to pull for the Summon Rush event, or if it's even going to require shards, or maybe something else, maybe pulling soulstones or something instead. Generally speaking, if it's shards, 10 or 11 Sacreds usually gets the job done. Now, that's not going to be an option for most players, but it is a way that you can reduce the amount of events you need to participate in across the extent of the, well, events chain. I will say though that for the average player probably watching this video, we've got a lot of folks who watch this channel who are more kind of like beginner and sort of like early to mid-game players and stuff like that. This is pretty much not going to be an option, and so that means that you will not be able to skip the fragments in a single event, okay? Should have maybe stressed that a little bit earlier on in the video, but yeah, there are, I think, 16 events exactly. Yeah, 16 events exactly. It's going to be 25 fragments for this happy little rare champ right here from every single event, and so you can't afford to miss a single one. That's it, really. So hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Are you partaking in the Fusion? We did a poll quite recently that suggested that maybe as little as like 25% of people or something are actually going to be going for Skorid the Houseborn, which is quite surprising to me, to be honest, but, well, there you go. Thanks again. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know if you are blasting the crap out of this Fusion, and I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man. Let's do this. I'm pumped.